Welcome to this edition of From the Vault. It's presented by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. Today, we'll go 1600 racing at Circuit Mont-Tremblant. The 1600 series was tremendously popular in the 1980s and 90s. Like today, it was affordable and allowed drivers to race by the seat of their pants. The rear wingless cars were a handful. The level of competition in the Canadian series was tremendous. 33 F1600 cars. Enjoy the race.
Today from Le Circuit, another large field gets ready to go racing. Bruno Bianchi hopes to win his first of the year. Didier Strainen looks to hold on to his championship points lead. And a Protec profile at home with Martin Guimont. Hello again, everyone. I'm Vic Crowder along with John Powell. Today from Le Circuit in the popular resort town Mont-Tremblant, TSN proudly presents Round 4 in the 8 race Esso Protec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series. And another large field of more than 30 cars heading out on their warm-up lap here at Le Circuit as we look back and bring you up to date on what's happened so far. And in race 1 at Mosport, John, we saw a battle. A rivalry begin, Martin Guimont and Bruno Bianchi.
And on the last lap, Bianchi is squeezed off at corner 8. That is probably setting up a rivalry that will continue.
As Martin Guimont picks up the first place at Mosport. The scene then shifted to Ile Notre-Dame in Montreal, part of Grand Prix weekend. 48 drivers started in front of a crowd of some 60,000. As we ride along with the pole sitter, Guimont, as Bianchi slipped past at the start.
Bianchi's car is blue now, not the red car that he had at Mosport. And maybe the color would change his luck. As they came down to the hairpin, Guimont went inside Bianchi, trying to get the lead back. Guimont not successful, but they touched. And Bianchi continued on as they came out of the hairpin and down. Vic, the Formula One chicane is not in place for the 1600 race here at Montreal. Guimont in pursuit of Bianchi. The question is, how does he narrow the gap? About the only place that he could do that, Vic, is under braking. They come up to the S's in front of the pits at Montreal. Guimont gets ever closer to Bianchi. Down the pit straight, past all the crew members watching, heading for the hairpin at the end of the pit straight. Still, Bianchi is in front. Guimont closes, moves to the outside. Inside, disaster.
And remember, this happens after just one lap in Montreal. Guimont apologizing, saying his brakes failed. At the checkered flag, the winner was Mike Sauce of Texas ahead of Jean-Francois Veilleux and Didier Strainen.
I just was trying to stay steady and be consistent, and I turned some good laps, and I'm just real happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The annual Moosehead Grand Prix, always popular with the drivers. This year, 32 took the standing start. A new circuit built on the Shearwater military base. The weather dreadful. Look at fog, drizzle, but the racing close as always. Starting from pole, Bruno Bianchi led the entire race until the last lap, because on the last corner, Ian Willis makes a beautiful pass to slip into first.
And this setup is wonderful. It's a damp track. It's the last lap. Bianchi in the lead. Willis comes out early, goes on the inside, a little bit drier, and gains the momentum. Bianchi is stuck on the wet track.
Ian Willis goes on to the win, so 3 races this year, 3 different winners, but it's Didier Strainen who is the leader in points, ahead of Paolo Dalcin, while in B class, it is the retired General Lou McKenzie in cars older than 1984. And as the cars head out on their warm-up lap, before the standing start. What a track this Le Circuit is. Storied tradition.
Vic, Lauder, and Stewart have raced here, and the conditions very challenging. This is a damp track, so a tough series has gotten even tougher.
As we take a look at the starting grid for round 4, and on the pole for the 3rd time this season, looking for his 2nd win of the season in his Wellington Canasca Reynard number 80, Martin Guimond.
I think all the new cars, when they at this stage of the season, they start to know the car and they start working very well. As every weekend, I think it's going to be harder and harder.
And will there be fireworks right beside him? Bruno Bianchi.
Year after year, the track is more bumpy, and especially in corner 7, where the bump every year when you get there the first time, you were kind of surprised. The car almost jumped about 5 centimeters off the ground, so it's fun, but it's a bit scary.
Inside row 2 from La Chênaie, Quebec, Alexandre Taliani.
Like everyone know, I'm here just for one race, and I don't want to compete it with the other guys in the series. They are here for all the championship. I'm gonna start like they're gonna start, and I'm gonna wait in the middle of the race. I'll see if I'm competitive with the 2 guys in front. I will race with them, and I will wait maybe when I could pass. I'm gonna try to pass, but no take a chance and just wait at the end of the race. It's a long race.
Outside row 2 from Granby, Quebec, Sylvain Perigny.
I think the Canadian Formula 1600 series is known as a major step. It's not a high step. It's not Formula Atlantic. It's just Formula 1600. You look at them, it doesn't go fast. But the level of competition is so high. It's incredible. Long time ago, I've been racing Formula Atlantics, but I've never seen such a level of competition. It's incredible. So the series is, I think it's healthy, and you have future champions here. That's for sure.
And maybe a future champion inside row 3, Marc Momeny.
For the first 2 laps, I'm not going to be too aggressive, because there's 2 guys in front of me who doesn't used to be there, and they're going to be very nervous, so they will be dangerous. So I will manage my way through. After 3 laps, I will start to push very hard.
And outside row 3, the current points leader in this Esso Protec PF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series, Didier Skrenen, as we look at the rest.
Vic, the strategy's interesting. Tagliani, new to the series, saying he's not going to get in the way. You can see the track very, very wet as they go down out of 7 into the carousel. You've heard Bruno Bianchi say the track is very bumpy and rough. This is shaping up for a real barn burner.
It's also a track we know you need rhythm.
You've got to be precise. You've got to get to the rhythm, Vic. It's going to be so tough for these guys. And I don't believe Tagliani when he says he's just going to sit back. And you know Bianchi wants to beat Guimond. Guimond probably, we'll let our audience decide, has taken advantage of the situation. A very fast driver, but not leading the points. What of Skrenen?
Today's race is brought to you in part by Esso Protec, the leader in protection, engineered in Canada for superior protection. BF Goodrich tires, because no other tires will do. And by Minidisc from Sony, the smaller recordable compact disc.
From the Vault is brought to you by M-Zone, premium auto care proudly owned and made by Canadians. By Recap Recovery Drink. By WeatherTech, for the perfect fit and ultimate in-vehicle protection, nothing protects like WeatherTech. Order online at weathertech.ca. And by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. Visit our website for hall merchandise.
Welcome back to Le Circuit Mont-Tremblant. As we get ready, the warm-up lap continues. They will do 15 laps around this 4.26 kilometer circuit. Thankfully, the rain has stopped and the track appears to be drying in spots. As you take us on a little bit of a tour here of Le Circuit with Jean-Francois Veilleux, this course is very special to drivers. They really do like it.
Vic, it demands a lot of precision, a lot of finesse, and these single-seater monoplace cars don't give any quarter. Now, the handy-cam shot here. As we pass the start-finish straight, Jean-Francois has to pass inside a car. Now he's not ideally set up for corner one, lifts off, gets back on the power, moves across to the apex at the top of the hill, then down, all the way down the hill, past Le Diable into the S's. Not quite at the outside, across to the inside on the right, then a quick change to the left, and up all the way out to the speed bumps on the outside, heading up to corner 6. He'll shift up to 4th gear at this point, just past the apex, and then over to corner 7. A blind apex right-hand turn, Vic. There's the clipping point, and he moves out to the left-hand side and heads down to the carousel. Now, very, very bumpy under braking here. We see lots of action under braking. Downshift, a double apex turn. Across to the inside, car moves out, then it comes back again. But there's a puddle, so it spoils the line a little bit as he heads up the long back straight at Mont Tremblant, up the hill. This is where the Can-Am cars used to go upside down, Vic. And then plunging down the straightaway, heading for the Gulch. 4th gear, he's checking his mirrors here. Down 1, across to the right. Not quite out to the outside because there's a quick left-hand turn. And then up to the speed bumps and under the Michelin bridge. Down 2 gears. Across to the left, a blind clipping point out to the outside. And then the momentum carries him as he heads off under the GM Motorsport bridge to Namarau. And he's going to that hairpin. An uphill, hard braking. Across, clip, look ahead, and shift up, and he's heading down that kink. Very, very difficult to start here. The kink down past the start-finish trap, and that is 1 lap with Jean-Francois Veilleux.
And we asked this 20-year-old about the challenges he faces here at Le Circuit.
The track is very selective first. You have all sorts of corner. You challenge your bravery a lot of times. Challenging track, as I just said. The only problems we have this year a bit with the Formula cars, which are so stiff now, that obviously it's jumping around. The car in some corners is a bit like a grasshopper.
Now let's see the start. Standing start, of course, in Formula 1600. We'll watch for the light. Listen to the revs come up. The marshal says the field is good. And on the left, Guimont off to a bad start, and it is Bianchi on the left-hand side who will grab the early lead.
Bianchi didn't have pole, but he got to dry up out of the track, Vic, and he's off and running down the whole field, clean through the first 2 corners and into the S's. Some action here. Guimont trying to go underneath Bianchi, not making it. Bianchi looking good as they head out of 6 and down to 7.
And it's still wet in places as Bianchi gets the early jump on Guimont. Greg Rohauer is Bianchi's crew chief.
We're happy to see that there's a tight competition, as usual, between him and Martin. As you know, they're good friends, so sometimes they get mishaps, but they really like to fight it out on the track, though.
Good friends, are they? At times it wouldn't seem so. Look at this, trying to get underneath.
Tagliani, a great move into the carousel. It's not as bumpy on the inside as they come into the carousel and out. And you can see how the wet track is pushing people off, Vic, as they go down into the Gulch. And it's still Bianchi from Guimont. Tagliani chain 3 abreast, Vic. Look at this.
It is Momani, Tagliani, and Veilleux all there as Bianchi continues to lead, followed by Momani in 3rd and number 34. That is Veilleux currently in 4th place.
And there goes Schreinen, the points leader, and he's picked up a position.
Schreinen into 5th place, but looking to come right back and retake it. No, and Schreinen will hold on to 5th as they complete 1 lap here. Up the hill now and into Namarau corner. And we have a spin, one of the B-Series cars. This is David Klubine from Brantford, Ontario in his Merlin. B cars, of course, a reminder, older than 1984.
That's a vintage car, almost as old as Mavic.
Not quite. As they come by the start-finish line for the very first time through the puddles, it is Bianchi holding off Guimont, and we're starting to see now Didier Schreinen looks to make a move up from 5th. Some wet, dry parts. Unlike some formulas where you change rain tires to dry tires, no changing here.
No, these BF Goodrich tires are good for both conditions. What's happening here is the sun is out. It'll dry off at the pit straight, but down through corner 7 and into the carousel, it will stay wet. So still a challenge, but a drying track. We'll see changing conditions, changing tactics.
I tell you what, Guimont is under an awful lot of pressure. Look at Momani trying to make the move up from 3rd. Didier Strainen.
And Momani inside Guimont as they come out of the hairpin, but not making it.
Didier Strainen now has dropped back to 6th place and seems to be falling back. There may be problems with Strainen's car.
3 abreast once more into the Gulch. Somebody has to come out. It's not Bruno, and Guimont is still in front.
Followed by the number 60 Momani and the 34 of Veilleux. And then it's Taliani, who is sitting in 5th place as we ride along with Jean-Francois Veilleux.
Under the GM Motorsport bridge into Namaro, Veilleux makes his move. Hard on the brakes, down a gear, and inside.
Inside of Momani, tries to put the squeeze on him. Now, who's got the exit speed?
Well, it's a wet track, and Momani has more speed, but will he make it? I think Veilleux a little bit squirrely, but he has it as they go down onto the dry part of the track. Expert driving, both from Veilleux and Momani, as they find their way through this wet track.
Jean-Francois Veilleux and Marc Momani battling for 3rd and 4th here.
A great challenge out of 7 down into the carousel once more. Bianchi, Guimont, looking for a move. Nope, not yet.
Now Momani inside. Veilleux gets it a little wide.
There's a problem here, Vic. There was a yellow flag. Momani drops back, hoping that they won't consider that a pass because he can't afford to be penalized under the yellow. They go down the straightaway. Momani resumes his position behind Veilleux. He's not looking for the inside, Vic. Bianchi and Guimont still in the lead. 34 Veilleux leads from Momani, putting a lot of pressure as they come under the Michelin bridge.
Now, do you look for drier sections if you're going to make a pass, or do you really care? Is line still important?
Dry is quicker than wet, absolutely. You've got to look for the place. That's why the inside of Namaro is such an advantage.
Here's your leader, Bianchi. Guimont, if they've pulled away a little bit now from that battle between Veilleux and Momani.
The track drying out very quickly. Veilleux and the 92 Van Diemen seems to be able to pull a little bit further away from Momani in the number 60 car. That is a home-built car from Quebec.
Now we look back. Great battling going on here for 10th position. The number 44, that's Steve Delebien. 71 is Nick Lundgren. 31, Michel Provo. Brian Foyt in the number 66. Back now to the battle for 3rd. It continues with Veilleux and Momani.
The track steaming as the sun comes out, drying it off very quickly, but still through 7 and the carousel it is wet. Momani does not seem to be able to close any further on Veilleux.
As we take a look at our leaderboard, still early here in round 4, and it is Bruno Bianchi leading Martin Guimont, followed by Veilleux, Momani, Taliani. Welcome back to Le Circuit Mont-Tremblant, round 4 of this Esso Protec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series. Make a note, number 20, Lee Rasico, he is the top B-class car. Those are the cars older than 1984. Bruno Bianchi continues to lead Martin Guimont.
I really like this Bianchi guy. He does an excellent driving job. Guimont, aggressive, Bianchi, perhaps with finesse, but this is a great race. Look at the job he's doing here as they come out and head for the Michelin bridge.
Veilleux currently in 3rd place, followed by Momani, number 60 in 4th, and Taliani. So 3 white cars, and then Didier Strainen is currently in 6th position.
The track drying out a whole lot now, and they're getting faster and faster. The lap time's dropping. This is the point where you can really get caught out. Notice Bianchi protecting himself as he goes into Namaro, then moving back over to take the corner. Ever conscious of Guimont, who's lurking behind. A little bit of wet just over the start-finish line, and then down flat. Don't you say the brave ones don't lift? Down over the hill, into the S's. Bianchi from Guimont. Bianchi right in the middle. Notice that, Vink? And Guimont locked up. Bianchi, and it's still damp. Bianchi is threatened. Guimont,
you bet. Guillaume is all over the back of Bruno Bianchi, and again, looking to find maybe that little patch of dry that could give him the jump into a pass.
And here's a great dice.
Right at the back of the field, number 46 is Oliver Klubine. He's the blue car. Gary Goyot is the number 33, and then Bruce Bowman as they battle. That's what's always interesting about races such as this. There are races within races.
These are both Vika and Klubine. Gets it all wrong. Oh! Masterful job there by Bowman, just missing. Because Klubine came right across. Ali Klubine came right across the track in front of Bowman, and he just made it.
Back to our leaders now. Bianchi. And so far, no way by for Martin Guimont.
Guimont seems to pick up a little bit as they come out of the S's and head down to corner 7. Bianchi seems to stretch it out from Namaro all the way down to the S's. Through corner 1, Bianchi particularly impressive as they come under the GM Motorsport bridge. There you go, Guimont closing up a little bit.
How much are the cars responsible for this? We have a Van Diemen leading, and we have a brand new Van Diemen, 94, and 88 Reynard being driven by Guimont.
Van Diemen, very competitive car, but the 88 Reynard, an excellent automobile. So I guess it's really down to the drivers.
And right now he sits in second place, Martin Guimont, trying to chase down the leader, Bruno Bianchi.
Guimont may dream of the big time. He is sponsored by Victor Sifton, Kanaska Racing. Victor could put him in an Atlantic car tomorrow if he wished, but perhaps he's waiting for results today, and results are what he must get. And he must pass this man, Bruno Bianchi, in the number 4 Keystone car, and Bianchi seems untouchable, Victor.
Well, you think about the people who've driven for Victor Sifton. David Empringham, of course, won his first Formula Atlantic Championship driving for Kanaska. And now it's possible that Kanaska will be in Indy Lights in 1995 with 2 Canadian drivers. Certainly Trevor Siebert from out west in Calgary may be one of those.
Perhaps that explains Guimont's aggressiveness, but when you look at the way Bianchi is driving, everything is right here. Although there was a slight miscue, Bianchi went off.
Ooh, setting him up.
Slightly off, but Guimont could not make it back because of the wet track as they head down to the carousel.
And we look back in the field. This is a good battle. This is Graham Pepler in the red, number 8. In the blue 77, that's John Pajinski. A couple of Ontario drivers, Pepler from Gloucester, Pajinski from Brampton. Back to our leaders now.
Out of the carousel, and it's Guimont in the draft as they go up the hill. Bianchi looking in his mirrors. You don't want to do that, Bruno, because there's a miscue. Yes, inside to the gulch. Guimont has the inside. The track is wet.
Now it's Bianchi in the dry, but it doesn't matter. Yes, Martin Guimont has taken the lead.
Guimont grabbing the lead from Bianchi on a slight miscue that started all the way back at the S's.
In B class for cars older than 84, it's Lirasico in number 38 ahead of Martin Walter. Stephen Morris, number 9, is currently second in class, followed by the points leader, 99, the retired General Lou McKenzie. So racing within a race here at Le Circuit. Interesting, that look in the mirrors. How did Guimont get him to look maybe left and suddenly dart right?
The miscue started all the way back at the S's, then through 6 and 7 and through the carousel. He lost his momentum. Guimont kept it up. And then Bianchi just locked up going into the S's. Here we are. It was back here that the miscue cost Bianchi, and now he's chasing him. So I think it's a combination of the miscue, the a lack of concentration and spirited driving by Guimont.
And the other thing that you have to take notice is Guimont elected to pass in the wet. He took the inside line, and that was the wet line.
That's right. But I think Bruno may have been intimidated by it, because if Guimont went wide, he would take Bianchi out. And I bet you Bruno remembers Montreal. So now the positions are reversed. Guimont leads, Bianchi behind in the draft. As they come down, he's cleaning his mirrors. Bianchi, don't look in your mirrors. He makes a move on the inside. Can he duplicate it? It's wet here.
That's where Guimont made the pass, but he's tried his pass from a little maybe too far back.
That's right. Bianchi is denied. Guimont.
We have somebody out. This is Graham Pepler. We saw him earlier battle with Paznicki. And Graham Pepler from Gloucester, Ontario, in a 92 Euro Swift, is out of the race here at Mont Tremblant as the leaders come up now on some back markers.
Inside corner one, and he got waved by Veilleux is second. And what's this?
This a great battle for fourth. Taliani, Momani, and Strainen. As Taliani gets by and into fourth place ahead of Momani, DDH Strainen currently in sixth. Oh, we've got a spin. George Jaluski in the zero car, the 84 Reynard from Oshawa, Ontario, one of the B-class cars, spins here at Mont Tremblant.
Bianchi looks at 7, doesn't get inside, but takes a look as they head for the carousel.
Martin Guimont is your leader, ahead of Bruno Bianchi. Round 4 here at Le Circuit. Welcome back to Le Circuit as we are late now in round 4 of this SO Protec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series. Martin Guimont continues to lead. Bruno Bianchi second, and the battle continues back for 4th, 5th, and 6th, and that is Veilleux, Taliani, and Strainen.
From Momami, and it's Momami in the lead from Tagliani. Strainen is looking back behind, waiting for the move. The track is dry as they go over the straight, and Tagliani goes down the inside into the gulch.
Again, it is patchy, it is wet. Will he have him on the inside as Strainen locks them up just a little bit?
Momami is behind, so Tagliani takes it away from Momami. Strainen is still watching it all, closing on Momami, who has given up the 3rd spot. And there's a yellow flag out at the hairpin.
Well, the yellow flag is still from George Jaluski, who we saw earlier, and now Jaluski just making his way out of the car. I wonder if they'll drop that yellow now and leave that as a passing zone, because if it's yellow, nobody can use it as a passing zone.
That's absolutely right, and that's a prime passing area, Vic.
To the outside, over the speed bump. Take me around.
Into the apex, late apex of corner 7, and it's blind. You can't see it turning in. And then heading down to the carousel, and remember, it's very bumpy in the braking zone. You see it's dry. Now he moves over a little bit to the left, and then double apex turn. Inside, touch, outside, and back in. But the puddle is still wet there, so he can't use the ideal line through the carousel. The straightaway, a long uphill climb, and then down, down, down. This is where the Can-Am cars used to go upside down, Vic. And heading into the gulch, down a gear, turning in, and moving not all the way out to the outside as we pick up Bianchi at the same spot. Guimont leads under the bridge. Bianchi, Vic, he must find a way behind by Guimont. Bianchi has to do this.
And so far, since Guimont's pass, really Bianchi hasn't been close.
Has not been able to make a difference. And
he
he's
gets a little
sliding.
sideways there.
The fact is that I suspect...
And look, excuse me, look what he lost just by that little slide.
Just that little miscue. I suspect they set the tire pressures for the rain. And now as the track dries out, these tires are not inflated very well, and therefore they're sliding more. I don't know that for sure, but it sure looks that way, because guess what? Veilleux is closing up as they go down the hill through the Diable into the Essence.
Down into the Devil, and look at the Devil has gotten to Marc Momani, and some impressive driving by Momani to regain control, but that allows Taliani and Strainen to get by, and Momini now drops into 6th place.
That's right, a big miscue costing him dearly. Back to the leader, Guimard, heading out of 7. And Bianchi dropping further behind. I'm really sure, because I see Bianchi heading for the water, trying to cool his tires down. I'm sure this is a game of tactics. Guimard loose as they go into the carousel, but not as loose as Bianchi. And here's Schreinen closing in on Tagliani. They have both got by Momini, who spun down the Dia.
And remember what some of the drivers were saying earlier about how the car at times feels like a little bit of a grasshopper. I guess under braking we saw that Momini, it got a little squirrely on him. When he brakes, I guess the car gets lighter.
That's right, bumps and bounces around, and he lost control. Under the bridge, still Guimard over the speed bumps. Bianchi behind. He's dropped that margin from that miscue and has not made it up. Under the GM Motorsport bridge into Namarau.
Now I don't see a yellow flag, so obviously they've brought down the yellow flags, and Namarau could be used for passing.
That's the passing zone now. Veilleux closing up rapidly on Bianchi. Across the stripe, Guimard, Bianchi, and Veilleux. He can see them now, and it's even more impressive because as the driver sees and he's getting closer, then he'll try harder.
Back to Tagliani, Schreinen, and Momini fighting for 4th, 5th, and 6th overall.
Impressive that Momini is that close after a spin. He's come back up through the S's.
Didier Schreinen, that's him in the number 94.
Up under the hill, closing right up on Tagliani.
Schreinen is the current points leader through 3 races.
Remember, Tagliani said he wouldn't get in the way of the other championship leaders, and Schreinen leads the points into Namarau.
Coming up on some back markers, it appeared that that was David Klubine ahead of him. Hand up, is he heading into the pits?
He's waving them by. Tagliani goes around, and so does Schreinen. Schreinen didn't make a move under braking into Namarau. Ah!
Klubine just maybe checking his mirrors and losing control a bit.
Yeah, there's a move there. Guimard in the lead, Bianchi 2nd, Veilleux 3rd, and the battle for 4th between Tagliani and Schreinen, our championship points leader. Across the stripe once more.
As we check the entire standings through 12 laps and make a note that the top car is Lee Rassico, that's in Class B. Lou McKenzie right behind in 19th place. McKenzie, the current points leader for B cars, as somebody locked them up right there.
I think it was Bianchi, I'm not sure. In any event, Guimard leads, Bianchi is setting 2nd, and Veilleux closing, but with the time left, Vic, I don't think there's going to be much of a change.
And how frustrating is it then for Bruno Bianchi to realize he can't reel him in? There's nothing he can do.
It's a tough job for Bianchi. I think the harder he tries, the worse it gets, and the track conditions have changed dramatically from the beginning to the end of the race.
Little mistakes like that by Guimard will certainly help Bruno, because whatever he lost with his little shimmy at Namarau, he maybe got right back there.
Into the gulch, it's still Guimard. Closing, Bianchi. You're right, Vic. The miscue, he gained a little bit. And sometimes you can taste it. It's so close. Bianchi moves up under braking into the Michelin bridge. Comes out, looking to set him up into Namarau.
Well, now he's within a couple of car lengths. This may be as close as he's been in quite a while.
Guimard to the middle, then to the outside. Bianchi, closer, closer, ever closer as they come out of Namarau. Do you think he'll take it into 1?
Not this time. Too far back. Bruno Bianchi, though, suddenly making a race of it late here at Le Circuit.
Across the stripe, Guimard, Bianchi.
We've got ourselves a race. We'll be back for the run to the checkered flag. Can Martin Guimard hold on? Bruno Bianchi says no. Just 2 laps left here at Le Circuit in round 4 of the SO Protec BF Goodrich Formula 1600. And my goodness, it's become a race now, John, as Bianchi is in striking distance.
Bianchi doing everything he can to close up on Guimard. Guimard, who took the lead away from Bianchi.
So what will Bruno do? We asked his crew chief, Eric Rohrauer.
think his strategy is to try to stay with him and make a move near the last 2 laps and try to get ahead of him. That is usually the standard racing strategy. He's using Martin's draft to save his tires and following his line, so it's easier to drive, and he keeps the pressure on Martin. There's no use making a move too early because then they'll be in too close a battle at the end. So I think he's playing his cards.
I'm surprised tires even come into play here because they've been racing in the wet. You wouldn't think that they'd be that worn.
I wouldn't think so either, but certainly tire pressures have played a part in this. So overall, it's tires. Bianchi tucks into the draft, follows Guimont over the crest of the hill, down the back straight, heading for the Gulch. He goes to the inside. He doesn't have enough, tucks back in, through the Gulch. Guimont from Bianchi.
Remember the battle that these two have had a couple of times. Guimont closing the door on Bianchi. That was at Mosport. Guimont, some suggest running him off the course at Le Circuit. Now they are nose to tail here at Le Circuit.
Bianchi looks to the left, goes to the right. Not enough. Right up tight as they come out of Namarau. And I'd say at Montreal, Guimont just took Bianchi out, whatever you call it. Let the audience decide.
One lap left, and Martin Guimont trying to hang on to the lead. Bruno Bianchi is right on his tail.
Down the hill, into the S's, Guimont with a slight edge. And Guimont locks up, but so Bianchi loses a little as well.
As we quickly look back, Veilleux ahead of Didier Streinen. At the battle for 3rd and 4th. As they come by to take the last lap flag, now back to our leaders. And
Carousel.
Going wide, very wide, Bruno Bianchi.
Yes, I think that was a miscue, and it doesn't put him in ideal position. Notice that? He's a little loose coming out. He's got to close up under the draft as they go over the crest of the hill along the back straight. He's only got a few corners left to do it. Guimont blocking. Bianchi goes to the inside. No.
Try as he might, he cannot get by Martin Guimont.
Heading up to the Michelin Bridge. Bianchi looks to the inside. No, once again. They come out of the Michelin Bridge. Bianchi up on the speed bumps, trying ever so hard as they head under the GM Motorsport Bridge. He goes to the left. They're heading into Namarau. This is it. He's got to make a move. Inside.
Oh, no. Again, he and Martin Guimont come together.
No doubt about it. Guimont took Bianchi out. Vic, there is no question. Bianchi had the corner.
Martin Guimont, controversial win again. His 2nd of the season, survives the last lap, the final turn crash with Bruno Bianchi. Current points leader, Didier Streinen, comes in 3rd to maintain his lead. But what a finish. Martin Guimont wins again.
It was pretty hard at the beginning on the wet. Bruno had an advantage a little bit. Then when it started drying up, I catch him, I passed him. Then at the end, I think I overcooked the rear tires. But, and Bruno tried a stupid move, you know, in the last corner Namarau. I mean, you got to be beside the guy before you start turning in, and I didn't saw him coming.
Interesting the way Martin Guimont sees it. Let's take another look. Was in fact this a stupid move by Bianchi?
Well, Vic, you gotta say, the key words are, I didn't see him coming. Bianchi had the corner. Guimont was oversteering. He could have given him a little bit more racing room. Bianchi was robbed. And you know what? He was robbed at Mosport. He was robbed at Montreal. He's been robbed here at Mont Tremblant. If I was Bianchi, I'd be mad.
In fact, it looked like, you talk about the understeer, he was loose, and that's what Bianchi spotted. A loose Guimont, and then went inside.
Yeah, but he was right in front. Bianchi went over with his left rear, Guimont's right front. That says it all. The whole front of that blue Bianchi car was in front. And you know what? That's motor racing. And on to the next race.
There is Didier Streinen, who comes in 3rd, and it's his consistency which has paid off for Streinen. as he continues to lead in the championship point standings. But another controversial finish to a Formula 1600 race, this time here at Le Circuit. And I'm wondering, these two drivers, Bianchi and Guimond, described as friends. This friendship, though, is being tested.
I think so, but there's one thing the fans can look forward to in the BF Goodrich Esso Protect 1600 Formula Series is great racing, because next time we'll see if Bianchi can do it.
Yeah, the problem is you mostly hear drivers say, well, that's racing, and I'm not sure if Bruno Bianchi would say it at this point. Your top 5 in this 4th round of the Esso Protect BF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series. Martin Guimond, a controversial second win. Jean-Francois Veilleux, and then Didier Scraden comes in 3rd, followed by Momeni and Taliani. The winner's podium at Le Circuit, and it's Martin Guimond, the winner. While Jean-Francois Veilleux, the 20-year-old from Montreal who spent most of last year racing in England, Formula Vauxhall, is 2nd.
Well, first I had a demon start. Could get away past 3 cars in the first lap. Then I got 4th in the 3rd and actually the 2nd lap, and then I just kept the gap. With 6-7 laps to go, unfortunately the rear sway bar just broke, so the car was getting loose in a few places. So I just decided, and I thought it was the tires going away, which was a main concern here in Mont Tremblant. So then I just try to keep the gap, not pushing too hard, so that car can do it till the end. And then at the last corner, Bruno and Martin, I don't know what really happened, they tangled together. And when I went by Bruno, I said yes.
And you don't necessarily have to be a winner to be a leader. Ask Didier Scraden. 4th at Mosport, 3rd Montreal, 5th in Halifax, and now 3rd here at Le Circuit. And he maintains his lead atop the championship points race after 4 rounds of this Esso Protect BF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series.
It feels great, I can tell you. It was a great battle. I was in the best seat for that battle between Tagliani and Momigny. And I was staying there hoping that something happened. But when my teammate told me that there was only 5 laps to go, I was anxious that the accident that I was hoping happened. And then Momigny spun in corner number 2. Then at that time I said, it's time to pass. Young Tagliani was driving very aggressively, and I think that he learned a couple of tricks after that, and I'm very pleased that the CKMF UAP Napa RDS TSN team is still leading the championship.
But everyone's still talking about the incident. Guimond, Bruno Bianchi.
Last lap, last corner, I tried to make a move on Namro. Coming up in Namro, I went side by side, coming up, and anyway, at the turning point, we were side by side. I turned in, he turned in, maybe too soon, or I was too fast, and we got touched. So it's bad because I didn't finish. That's why I was not very happy after that race. But we still don't know whose fault was it, because the ISN didn't take act to say, oh, your blame or his blame, so it's too bad, but it happened.
Yes, it happened. That's racing. Didier Scraden continues to lead the points race by now just 6 over Martin Guimond. Paulo Dalchin, a distant 3rd. The winner in B class, cars older than 1984, Lee Rasico. However, it is still retired General Lou McKenzie who leads the points battle in B-class cars over Rasico. Now, one of the reasons Esso goes racing is to continue the research and development of Esso products like the brand new Esso 100% synthetic engine oil.
The benefits for the consumer are really twofold. First, the synthetic oil gives just remarkable high temperature performance. So in very severe conditions like in the race where the engines are running very hot, the synthetic oil will not break down as a conventional oil might. The other advantage is in low temperature performance. A lot of engine wear happens when a car is started up in cold temperature. And if the oil doesn't flow well, the oil won't get to the critical engine components in time to prevent wear. Synthetic oils just have remarkably good low temperature performance and low temperature flow. So we expect that the consumer's engine is going to be protected much better with synthetic oil against the wear that occurs during low temperature startups.
Today's race has been brought to you in part by Esso Protect, the leader in protection, engineered in Canada for superior protection. BF Goodrich Tires, because no other tires will do. And by Mini Disc from Sony, the smaller recordable compact disc. A reminder to join us for our next race when we'll be at the historic road course through the Hippodrome of Trois-Rivières, Quebec. And our coverage will include a profile of Major General Lou Mackenzie, currently the leader in the B-class standings.
It was 1975. I was 35 at the time. Most race car drivers' careers are over by that stage. And I was in Germany, and for the first time woke up at the end of the month and I had a little bit of money left after all the bills had been paid. And my wife Dora and I worked out a deal that I would go racing for 1 year just to see whether I liked it or not. Well, I guess that's about 19 years ago. We've been doing it ever since. It's still a beating of the heart and an adrenaline rush that I don't apologize for, and I understand other people don't have the same reaction, but race car drivers and fans, marshals, I think probably all experience the same thing.
So just a reminder again to join us for round 5 of the Esso Protec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series from Trois-Rivières. And we'll have it for you here on TSN. Till we talk with you, on behalf of John Powell and our entire crew, I'm Vic Crowder. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye from Le Circuit, Mont-Tremblant.
Mont-Tremblant is a gorgeous backdrop for racing. It has been the backbone for many racing series over the last 60 years. Good to see Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame inductees Didier Schreinen, Alex Tagliani, and Lou Mackenzie in the race. Thanks for watching this edition of From the Vault.
From the Vault is brought to you by M-Zone, premium auto care proudly owned and made by Canadians. By Recap Recovery Drink. By WeatherTech. For the perfect fit and ultimate in-vehicle protection, nothing protects like WeatherTech. Order online at weathertech.ca. And by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. Visit our website for Hall merchandise.